Good evening, friends. We are all quite happy and excited today, and certainly thankful to Dr. Prerak Shah for this activity that he has sponsored, and he under his auspices that we are doing this under Prana Shakti Foundation's and AMA Dr. Prerak Shah Ayurveda activity. So, of course, as AMA, we have been doing lot of programs on naturopathy, and also Dr. Khadar Vali has been here sometimes, but we wanted to make this more structured. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Respected Dr. Khadar Vali sir, Prerak bhai, Harshit sir, Praveen bhai, Bhagwat ji. So we have some very senior people today amongst us, and certainly we are excited to launch this activity at AMA also, because certainly we can see the importance, not only importance, the health aspects, and apart from that, the economical aspects also on the what Ayurveda and having more of Ayurveda in the lifestyles of people would take us to. So I'll give just a 3 minute, 4 minute about the this activity that we are launching today, about this AMA Dr. Prerak Ayurveda activity. So this is the ultimate objective, is to offer Ayurveda academic activities under this initiative to maximize the contribution of Ayurveda towards wellness of individuals and society at large. The platform will be aiming to facilitate the exchange and dissemination of knowledge. So we also plan, of course it's still in the planning stage, that how can we have some short courses also where we can offer this Ayurveda, and which could benefit people even in their personal lifestyle, on how to be living more on the wellness front in terms of the food intake. About Dr. Prerak Shah. And again, sir, thank you for this activity. He is an internationally renowned Ayurveda consultant teacher and a motivational speaker. He is founder and managing director of IULink. He has conducted lectures and seminars in more than 27 countries worldwide, including United Nations Organization at Vienna. So certainly thank you for you are the initiator, and we have the right person to initiate, and we're certainly going to have lot of your knowledge and insights in taking this activity further. About the Pran Shakti Foundation, here the millet project is initiative of by Pran Shakti Foundation. It aims at bringing together pioneers working with millet research, farming, and cooking together. It's a movement to bring back millet into mainstream lifestyle, and it honors and celebrates the lost grain millet, which found its new life, prana, by relentless effort since the past 20 years by none other than our millet man of India, Dr. Khadar Wali. Thank you, Khadar Wali, sir, for bringing back the past to us. So past has we have forgotten, and I was asking him, is it possible to live on millet? So this question is totally a useless question. The people survive, the whole communities, ages, generations, and the times there was nothing but millet that they were living on. And we are talking about whether it is because our minds are so programmed. The center will also do, of course, public awareness. Then they will try to get resources for sharing and having synergy, educational, as I mentioned, academic support. We would have naturally networking of opportunities among the people who are wanting to look into this as lifestyle or even as an economic activity. Skill enhancement, this cross disciplinary collaboration, research, innovation, funding and grants, and many other aspects of the Ayurveda and millet. So that's the purpose of the. So thank you. I would request now the guests to please come to the stage. Khadar Wali sir, Prerak bhai, Harshit bhai. And yes, first we will do the lamp lighting and then move on to the program.
शुभं करोतु कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते चन्द्रमा मनसो जातश्चक्षोः सूर्यो अजायत श्रोत्राद्वायश्च प्राणश्च मुखादग्निरजायत स्वस्त्यस्तु ते कुशलमस्तु चिरायुरस्तु गोवाजिरस्तु धनधान्यसमृद्धिरस्तु ऐश्वर्यमस्तु बलमस्तु रिपुक्षयोस्तु वंशे सदैव भवतां हरिभक्तिरस्तु विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव जद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव शुभं भवतु.
Thank you. With this, we go to the main program and invite the speakers. Before that, I have the honor to introduce our speakers today, Dr. Khadar sir and Professor Harshit Shah. Professor Harshit Shah is Director of Ayush of Government of Gujarat and Principal of the Government Ayurveda College for last 2 years. He is an anorectal surgeon and has more than 800 surgery on the anorectal disease by the Shah Sutra technique that he has done. A surgeon at Jamnagar Hospital, IPGT, a research scholar in the Department of Shalya Shalaka at the Jamnagar IPGT and RA. He has 3 books to his credit on anorectal disease published by Department of ISMNH Gandhinagar and 3 DVDs on the same. He is a member of Singapore Society of Colon and Rectal Surgeon, member of Japanese Society of Colon and Rectal Surgeon, and he is active member of the International University of Colon and Rectal Surgeon, USA. Thank you, Harshit Bhai, for gracing the occasion. I'll give him a token of and a memento for the invitation that he has accepted. Dr. Khadar Wali sir, of course, doesn't need any introduction whatsoever. I certainly I have that given to me as a my responsibility today, sir. But he doesn't need an introduction without a doubt. But he's the millet man of India, independent food scientist, advocates consumption of millets to control lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and many more. He's awarded a Padma Shri of 2023. Born in Andhra Pradesh, completed his MSc in Mysore and PhD in steroids at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Became a postdoctoral fellow in environmental science at Oregon, USA. He was working in US as scientist and returned to India in 1997. And we are lucky to have you back, sir. Certainly. He is advocating the benefits of consuming millets in place of rice and wheat, and is engaged in studying the benefits of millets for last 20 years, as Prerak Bhai mentioned. So thank you, sir, for accepting the invitation and gracing the occasion. So without much ado, I will request Professor Harshit Bhai Shah to please give us his talk. Thank you, sir.
आदरणीय मंचस्थ महानुभाव, पद्मश्री मिलेटमैन ऑफ इंडिया वली सर, एएमए के जो भी यहाँ पे मैनेजमेंट की तरफ से हैं, वो सभी आदरणीय महानुभाव, प्रेरक शाह सर क्योंकि प्रेरक शाह सर को हम जब पढ़ते थे तब से जानते हैं, क्योंकि हम उनको इस तरह से जानते हैं कि एक आदमी है जो आयुर्वेद को बाहर जाके पॉपुलराइज कर रहा है। और मैं बेसिकली मेरा ग्रेजुएशन सूरत से है, और तब हमें पता चला कि नहीं, आयुर्वेद भी ऐसे प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं। और उसके बाद आईपीजीटी से जब पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन किया, तब भी प्रेरक शाह सर के बारे में काफ़ी कुछ जानने को मिला। और उसके बाद अहमदाबाद में जब हम आए, तब भी काफ़ी, जो मेरी कॉलेज है अखंडानंद आयुर्वेद कॉलेज, जिनका मैं प्रिंसिपल हूँ, तो वहाँ पे भी हम काफ़ी बातचीत विद्यार्थियों के जरिए करते थे, क्योंकि आयुर्वेद में ऐसा है कि प्रैक्टिस करना है तो बीएमएस की डिग्री लो और कुछ भी प्रैक्टिस करो। एज ए डायरेक्टर मुझे वो भी अभी तो पसंद नहीं है, लेकिन ये हो रहा है। और उसको कम करने के लिए या उसको बंद करने के लिए प्रेरक शाह सर के पास जो भी विद्यार्थी हमारे यहाँ से जाते थे, उनको काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को भी मिला है। ये आज जो एक ये कार्यक्रम हो रहा है, ये में डॉक्टर प्रेरक शाह आयुर्वेद एक्टिविटी, तो ये मैं समझता हूँ कि ये गवर्नमेंट को करना चाहिए, लेकिन प्रेरक शाह सर कर रहे हैं। क्योंकि ये जो एक्टिविटी है, एजुकेशनल एक्टिविटी है, वो हमारा काम है, लेकिन कॉलेज के बाहर जाके ऐसे एक ऐसी रेप्यूटेड संस्था में, जहाँ पे आयुर्वेद के लिए एजुकेशन के बारे में या कुछ भी आयुर्वेद के लिए आगे काम होगा, वो सब कुछ यहाँ पे होगा। और उसके लिए मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ प्रेरक शाह सर को। और सर के बारे में, मिलिटमैन सर के बारे में ऐसा है कि मैं भी उनको सुनने के लिए ही यहाँ पे आया हूँ, और मैंने यस कहा है कि मैं उनको सुनने के लिए आ रहा हूँ। इसलिए ज़्यादा मैं यहाँ और कुछ नहीं बोलूँगा, क्योंकि उससे टाइम हमारा कंज्यूम हो रहा है। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट।
You would say something, right? So thank you, Professor Harshit Shah. So now we come to, of course, we are all here eager to listen to Dr. Khadar Wali. Before he takes over, I would want Viraj Bhai, who is the man who is facilitating our chief guest's today presence here, to please convey some message.
Welcome, friends. We all know why we are here. Not taking much of the time, just want to share one perspective that puts our seminar in motion. I know some of you were also there yesterday, so I'll repeat the story for those people. But for people who are joined today, this is something, a perspective to think about. Imagine if you are told today that from now onwards you will be wearing white and black clothes. 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. How long can you continue like that? And if I say forever, you will feel a sense of restriction. You will feel that your freedom has been compromised. Right? Now that's an imaginary question, but now what I'm going to say next is not imaginary. Since past 100 years, we have been only getting two grains, wheat and rice. And if I remove wheat and rice from the plate, forget about cafe, restaurants, or outdoor catering, even from our home kitchen, 90% of the items will be off our menu. And we cannot see that conditioning. And that's where people like Dr. Khadar Wali shakes us from this conditioning, make us aware what has happened since past 100 years. Everybody knows about Dr. Khadar Wali, but particularly 2023 is celebrated International Year of Millets. But if we are having this conversation in 2022, no one will be talking about millets. Now imagine, even if in 2022 there is no awareness about millets, 25 years back, a young scientist having his flourished career in US, leaving all that aside, coming back to India when there is no awareness on millets, reviving those ancient grains, giving it to the farmers, showing them the method to grow them, and reviving the whole culture around millets. That's Dr. Khadar Valli for us. And he has not done that for any profit motive. He could have won billions of dollars and millions of royalties out of that. But that was not the intention. All of his work, research paper, has been on public domain. It is freely available for download. The irony is that people download his content and claim a copyright. That's the irony. And we are India, Bharat. It's a land of diversity. At every 50 kilometers, our language change. And why I say 100 years? Because 100 years back, this was not the story. We used to have more than 800 varieties of grains. Now we don't know even more. We can't even name 20 varieties. And that's where his role becomes important. Last but not the least, in Bharat, food is not just food, it's Anna Devta. And these grains are called Shri Dhanya, and our beloved Prime Minister called it Shri Anna. They are Shri Dhanya because they are the best of grains. They are good for the climate, they are good for the farmers, they are good for the consumers, they are good not for the external body only, they are good even for the internal systems. This is the culture he has been reviving, and this is the yagna which has been continued since past 30 years. Thank you, sir. Not taking much of the time, and we ask to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Viraj. Certainly, I think rightly mentioned Yagna.
Just last the things I can say about Prana Shakti Foundation, but in a nutshell, it's just the grace which we have received. We are sharing that.
Yes, thank you. So yes, Swamiji, Bhagavad Swamiji, would you like to give Ashirvachan for 2 minutes before you leave? That is Valli sir's request. That if you, with your presence, that if you can just maybe share 2 words of your Ashirvachan, please.
नमस्ते। अपने मूल और अपने जड़ के साथ जो जुड़ा हुआ रहता है वो ही बचता है। चाहे कृष्ण की कथा ले लो या राम की कथा ले लो, उसमें एक प्रसंग आता है दामोदर लीला कृष्ण की कथा में, तो वहाँ पे श्री वल्लभ हमारा ध्यान आकर्षित करते हैं उस बात पे कि नलकुबर मणिग्रीव जो कुबेर के पुत्र थे, लेकिन वे भूल गए अपना कुल और अपना मूल। तब अनर्थ हुआ और फिर उनको मुक्त कराने के लिए भगवान को ये लीला करनी पड़ी। वहाँ पे एक और चीज पे महाप्रभु जी ने आकर्षित किया हमारा ध्यान, और वो है कि हमारे पास जो शरीर, शक्ति और संपत्ति है वो हमारी नहीं है, अमानत है, और जब तक जिनकी है उनके लिए उसका उपयोग न हो जाए तब तक हमें नींद नहीं आनी चाहिए। तो यही 2 बात श्री वल्लभ की आपके साथ बांटकर प्रसन्नता और गौरव अनुभव करता हूं कि आपने इस पल पे, इस ऐतिहासिक क्षण में साक्षी होने का सौभाग्य प्रदान किया। धन्यवाद। हम अपने मूल और कुल से जुड़े रहें। धन्यवाद।
Dr. Khadar Valli, so you would like to speak from here, wherever you're comfortable. Yes, please.
So it's good evening, pranam. I'm so honored to be speaking to this august audience, and my sincere pranams to everyone who have grace this occasion. Water is broken down into nascent hydrogen, which is then caught by the green leaves in dark reaction, and then it proceeds into the dark reaction. The light reaction breaks down the water to hydrogen and OH, the nascent hydrogen it is called. That is transported to carbon dioxide, which is fixed on the photosynthetic platform called chlorophyll, a protoporphyrin molecule which is holding carbon dioxide. And then this hydrogen goes and starts doing its job, and then slowly builds up a molecule called glucose, which is trapping the Surya's energy, the sun's energy, and converting into chemical energy. So, who is giving energy? Who is giving energy? Sun. So, the story is not about food, the story about human beings, this, that, all this life on this planet called Earth happens from this. So, without sun, nothing happens. And then comes water is necessary, this is necessary, that all that is, say, given everything. If this doesn't happen, the trapping of the energy in the light reaction called chlorophyll photosynthesis, kirana janya samroga kriya bolte. And that's where the energy of sun is trapped, and you have now a chemical called glucose, a 6 carbon molecule, 6 units arranged. Now what do we do with this? This fellow, this glucose, becomes various forms of chemicals, biochemicals. And that's where the genome comes in with the different diversified materials on this planet. So there are billions of genomic conditions on this planet to transform this into different things. And so the accumulation, chaining, big long forms of this glucose is carbohydrates, polycarbohydrates, all these things happen, and then you pepper it with nitrogen and then oxygen and phosphorus. You start making the machinery to process these things called DNA, RNA, ribose nucleic acid. So you have oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen, all these side characters coming into picture. And again, this complex thing is broken down each and every living organism, including virus, to the so-called complicated human body, or much more maybe in whales and other living things into the ocean also. Every living thing has to break down this complex food materials into again glucose, and then this same glucose which is synthesized is going to be burnt into carbon dioxide, trapping that energy into what is called ATP, Jiva Shakti. It's a biological energy. Now, so we have from photo energy, sun's energy, chemical energy, now it has become the Jiva Shakti. So something is doing this. And so while doing this ATP business, you have got carbon dioxide. Now, if that carbon dioxide is not transported back to lungs and you exhale, then your cycle is complete. The same carbon dioxide that this chlorophyll fixed and made glucose, and this glucose has transformed into different things and again back into your mouth and then exhaled as carbon dioxide. The same hemoglobin, which is actually sister of the chlorophyll, that is present in the green leaves, is actually your red blood. You remove magnesium there and put iron here. So the same chlorophyll, remove magnesium and put iron, it becomes red. Same thing, ditto. So to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide, you have this protoporphyrin ring called with different cations. You see why I'm talking all this? Cation, electron. So it's the movement of energy. And it is slowly building up cycles of complex nature. We call it carbon cycle, we call it water cycle, we call it nitrogen cycle. So the simple movement of electron and proton, which is actually transporting the energy, which is again changing itself from photon energy to chemical energy to biological energy and back to heat. So when you exhale the carbon dioxide, you get hot. See, that is the leakage of energy, that heat while we put carbon dioxide out. So it's nothing but movement of energy. You're moving the energy from one to the other, different forms, and there seems to be drama going on. That, oh, we are breathing, we are doing this, we are doing that. But what is the source of all this? The sun energy. So the whole drama dance is beginning with sun. And to make this drama go on around, sun is not done with you. Without sun's light, the endocrine system, which do all these wonderful biological reactions, release their juices into the bloodstream. And each and every endocrine system, there's Nirnala Grandhi we call, that means ductless glands. There are no tubes to release their juices. These are guys, the units that get activated again by sun's energy. That is very specific, happens when sun is, Swamiji disappeared. The color of Swamiji wearing that orange color called orca. It's called ochre in English. And actually it is name of the frequency. Saumitri, Aditya, Ravi, Bhanu, Surya, Hiranyagarbhaya, Arka, Bhaskara. So these are actually 12 frequencies divided into 4 groups or 4 ghattas, means sessions of Prabhodai, Ushodai, Arunodai, Suryodai. So these are actually the frequencies. That's what actually, if yoga people are there doing Surya Namaskara, you are supposed to say this 12 names of Surya. And they are actually the frequencies. What are they doing? They are not simply there. They are there activating all these wonderful Nirnala Grandhis, ductless. And what do these juices do? They are the supervisors of wonderful biochemical processes going on you. So now we are here talking about health and we never talk about sun. All over the world, sadly, including the Ayurveda and yoga teachers are teaching Surya Namaskara in Zoom meeting at 12 o'clock in the noon. You do 108 Surya Namaskara, 208 Surya Namaskara. Surya Namaskara has to be done under Akasha Tattva when you see that wonderful orange sun and go through this moment. So you are better off getting up 10 to 20 minutes before the sunrise, because the Prabhodai, Ushodai, Arunodai happens. And then comes Bhaskara, the white sun that you cannot see. Your eyes are not designed to see. It is that Arka you can see, that's 7 minutes. And that's when all the switches are fixed, absolutely switched on, including the biological clock, including the adrenal systems, hormone balance, everything is done. And so I come here and say, millets, you eat millets, they are wonderful, superfood, they do this, they clean you up, they give you energy slowly and steadily. There is a lot of fiber in it, readily available, controlling the glucose release, all this blah, 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 blah. The rice and wheat does not have it. Sir, I'm eating only millets, nothing is happening, I'm not getting well. You will not get well because you are not doing Surya Namaskar. Am I making sense? So if someone talks about health and doesn't talk about Surya Namaskar, he doesn't know anything about health. Sorry, I make some statements that may hurt some people. So be it. And who told Surya Namaskara is very important? Just like Aryabhatta said, Earth is rotating around sun. But now if you Google, it is Copernicus and Galileo. And this is science for you. You don't get Aryabhatta's name. Aryabhatta was there long, long ago before this Copernicus, Galileo. In fact, this Catholic Church haunted these fellows when they said, Earth is going around sun. The same way, now, at the behest of these food corporates, which actually took their existence after World War II, figured out that C3 grasses called rice and wheat could increase their yields because of their genome actually very small compared to the millet's genome. Maybe 18 times more genome we have these millets. This C3 grasses, the way they make glucose is starting from pyruvic acid. It's called C3 unit. Whereas C4 grasses start from C4 stable compound, this building up units. And that's why they have actually circumvented the need of water because of the genomic content. And starting from oxaloacetic acid, the 4-carbon unit, this is 3-carbon. That's why it's called C3 photosynthesis. This is called C4 photosynthesis. And God has not made this planet just for you alone. You alone means the human beings. There are lakhs of living things on this planet. So he has to be worried about giving food for everyone. And he has done that exactly. He has created more than 8,000 varieties of C4 grasses that fix carbon dioxide into food and they make their grains. The grains are so small to big. Millium, they are called in English. I mean, just to tell you the word why millets are called. Milli means small, sushma. The grains cannot be seen. In fact, we, in our Purana Granthas, we used to describe it as Chudradhanya, Trunadhanya, Chirudhanya, Kirudhanya. And if you come to Hindi language, the Mota Anaj, Chota Anaj. But आजकल experts in North think Mota Anaj is millets. Mota Anaj is part of the millet group family. Mota to chota hona hai na. You cannot simply say Mota unless you have a chota fellow. So Chota Anaj, Mota Anaj, called minor millets, major millets. In that millets itself, some are little bigger than the smaller ones. So there have been more than 1,800 grains on this planet, not just in India, all over the world. In fact, foxtail millet is known as Italian millet. Brown top millet is actually known as American millet. Even today in Colorado, they grow tons of it. But sadly, the highest apex body of scientific community called FDA writes on these grains not for human consumptions, bird feed. And Hamara Ayurveda mein it is called Sashtika Shali, a grain that is formed in 60 days. Supposed to be the grain that everyone can use at any given point of time. So Ayurveda and millets, they are not separate. Millets are Ayurveda. There is nothing like Ayurveda and millets because it is the food of the human gut, not today, not yesterday, not 100 years ago, not 1,000 years ago, lakhs of years ago, because the scientific reports of anthropological studies, first domesticated grass is this C4 grass because it is present 90% of the planet. C3 grasses are so specific and finicky fellows that they cannot be grown everywhere and anywhere. They grow in a very restricted zones. Temperature range is very small, between 15 to 23, 24. Beyond that, their yields are kaput. Even after doing best hybrid varieties, genetic modifications, the yields of rice and wheat have been coming down in the last 20 years because of the global warming. It's come down 32% already. So that's what is done by these food corporates. Last 100 years, he said, but according to me, it has just happened in the last 60 to 70 years. And it is to the credit of Bharat that we have resisted this corporatization of food much longer than in many other countries. And that is the only reason why we have functional young kids. Please mark my words, functional young kids. Because now, at present, 8% of the kids are born, even in India, in the last decade, 6% to 8% are born with type 1 diabetes. 6% to 8% of kids are born with hole in the heart. 6 to 8% of kids are born ADHD. 6% to 8% of kids are physically handicapped, and 6% are cerebral palsy. How many times I have told this? More than 5 times. That means almost 30 to 40% of kids are born now dysfunctional, even in India. Because in the last 20 years, we have managed to be in the corporate hands completely. Completely. Because we are now conditioned that I come to northern India and say, wheat is not your food. Kaun aaya hai? We have forgotten all other grains. And nature is diversified. And we have pizza in New York, pizza in Mumbai, pizza in Ahmedabad, pizza in Chamarajnagar, near my Mysore, a small town. Same, exactly the same taste. And that is corporatizing food for you. A small guava tree, amrutfal, you pick a fruit from this side, it tastes different. Pick fruit from the other side, it tastes different. And here we have all the experts not talking about rice and wheat being our food only. This monoculturing the food has destroyed the planet resources. 1 kilo to grow rice, you need to topsy-turvy the mountains, mine it, build dams, and provide 8,000 liters of water to grow 1 kilo of rice. 1 kilo of wheat, 10,000 liters. As if this is not enough, we have now, India grows more than 138 lakh tons of sugar. Sugar is the penultimate product of our digestion. One more step, it becomes glucose, and then the blood stream has to take it to the mitochondria to burn and produce energy. So the final product you are putting into the mouth, and we have wasted the rivers to produce the sugar. Sugar estates have been the single reason why water has been disappearing from this planet. Tea, coffee, sugar estates have destroyed the mountains and rivers originating places Ugamasthana have been completely destroyed. So the perennial rivers of many countries have just evaporated, including rainforest in South American continent is at not risk, it's disappearing. And not to speak of the diversified life forms in those forests. It's all happening because you're drinking cup of tea or cup of chai daily, even once. But we have not stopped at once because the doctors are telling every 3 hours you have to keep eating. In its true sense, you eat once a day, you are the best. You eat twice, you are bhogi. एक बार खाने वाला योगी, 2 बार खाने वाला भोगी, 3 बार खाने वाला. That's the definition. So how many times are you eating? But the experts are telling eat 4 times, 3 times, 3 hours once. Eat at 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Keep eating. They are not using the word eating also. Keep consuming. So we have become consumers. You consume food? No, you are consuming nature itself because to produce this so-called food, we have evaporated the water bodies. The aquifers in California have disappeared. The Everglades in Florida are no more there. The diversity that they harbored has completely evaporated. It's all because you want sugar. Sugar is the last and least necessary thing for you because we are supposed to, from mouth to anus, God has kept to produce glucose slowly, steadily into your bloodstream. This is the cycle. And here we are in the last 100 years. No expert has questioned why the hell are we eating only rice and wheat when there are 1,800 grains on this planet. Because Green Revolution experts came and said, hey, you guys are eating coarse grains, जानवरों का खाना है, सुअरों का खाना है, पंखियों का खाना है, क्या primitive food खा रहे हैं? देखो हम आपको दे रहे हैं. This is the narrative they built. And all at a sudden India didn't have food. Though there was food. This is the narrative built up in all media. All at a sudden, India didn't have food in 1960s and 70s. There was food all over, including a district called Anantapur, which is the most drought-ridden, where my grandmother came from. I used to go there back when I was born, 58 or 57. I have no idea when I was born. I used to eat these millets, and we had no problem. But in the newspapers and the so-called radio and all, they were telling there is no food in India. Europe is sending us some PL 480, PL 70 to do all these big arrangements. All at a sudden, these guys, and that was the ploy used to get their patented rice and wheat into every nook and corner. In fact, India resisted for a long time. Even today, some of the tribal areas, अभी भी बाजरा का रोटी खा रहे हैं. अभी भी हमारा साउथ कर्नाटका में रागी हम बाल खाते हैं. We resisted long enough. But then in 1987, when I went to America to do my so-called PDF or whatever, I found a girl of 6 years age menstruating. I asked the doctors and scientists, why the hell a girl of 6 years old? They said, no, we have spinning white revolution. We want to feed all the babies because the mothers in America and Europe refuse to feed their babies. So, in fact, it was a ploy again. They wanted to find the market for the steroids that they started synthesizing. IVF, in vitro fertilization, each and every, in fact, they don't have cows, basically. Cows are there only in India. They looked around and said, hey, just borrow some of the cows. And they did all this IVF and genetic modifications. The cow started giving 25 liters. Each and every cow they did artificial insemination, because in nature, if you have 1,000 cows, only 50 or 100 cows give birth to calves on a regular basis. It's only 10%. And imagine there are 100 couples, even in human beings, all 100 couples will not get kids the first year. No, only 5 to 10 fellows will get, and then it will take some time. So that is the ratio generally. But then these guys cannot wait. They take care of 1,000 cows and then only 100 cows give birth and only 100 cows gives milk. It doesn't work out for them. So this is not. So they said, we do genetic modification, this and that, and every 1,000 cows have to give milk and every cow has to give 25 liters. Then they said, this is white revolution. Then they started feeding the babies. Lo and behold, girls' menstruating age started coming down. When I went in 1987, the baby was at 6 years old. Now we have in our clinics 3-year-old girls menstruating, and no doctors, no experts ask the question even today. So all the gynecological problems of women are because you are consuming this so-called milk. So what it trying to communicate to you is that if you stop these artificial foods, the microbial balance, hormonal balance, glucose balance, these are the terms coined by Dr. Khadar. We are creating the imbalances in these 3 important dimensions of our existence and then manufacturing the diseases. So the green revolution, white revolution, now they are spinning one pink revolution. So protein is important, very, very important. So eat a lot of protein. And even our Ayurveda fellows started, eat protein, no, eat sprouts, eat this, eat that. You don't need protein. You need only 4% to 5% protein. For heaven's sake, there is no protease in your mouth till the tummy. Whatever amino acids are coming from the grasses and the greens and the grains, we can rearrange and make the protein that we want. You cannot eat cat's meat and say, I have protein. That cannot be integrated. You need to make your amino acid sequence. Again, it's a business proposition, not science. And this, our ancestors have told long, long, long ago. Human gut is shakahar. Animal protein is not there in your food. Period. No discussion. And they are yielding to the pressures. Oh, you can eat now and then. Fish, oh, jalapush kha sakte hai. Even some of our Swamijis started, okay, eat. Chalo. And that's what I'm trying to communicate to you, that we are slowly yielding to this corporate food culture. Corporatization of food is the culprit. This has been planned very, very, very stringently in the boardrooms of these food corporates that are to sell their products. And we have not asked a single question. And that's my problem. We have to change this scene. So, type 1 diabetes, no one can cure. Who declared it? Diabetes, you take this tablet. How long? Lifelong. BP, how long? Thyroid, how long? Rheumatism, how long? Autoimmune diseases, till you live. What are they curing? What are they curing? We do not have right to ask. We have no right to ask, or are we conditioned not to ask because we accepted that these guys are the last authority? So it was so obvious for me in 1987 that it is the wrong food that is creating this. We are manufacturing diseases, and then these guys are fooling us. Why? Because they want to sell the tablets. Just diabetes alone. These are not my numbers. I have not cooked up these numbers. 2013 to 2014, March to March, so-called financial years. There are CAs here. Just that 365 days net profit, not Vyavahar. It's not the Vyavahar. It is just the net profit is two. You will be surprised if I tell this number, 827, 9 zeros followed. 827 billion, not rupees, dollars. 1 year profit, net profit, diabetes alone. So if you convert it into that time rupee, it is 60,000 Shatakoti Rupai. And you know, 1/3 of contribution is from India. 20,000 billion rupees we are giving to these companies. And imagine we have not made extra 1 rupee more profit for the last 10 years. In the 2013 to 2024, in another 2 months we are getting 24. 10 years. The same profit they are making. If you just put one more zero, it becomes 200,000 billion rupees. You know how much is it? Our budget 5 times more. Our budget is less 5 times. So where is the economy? We keep talking, Papa, our Pradhan Mantri Modi ji wants to become $5 trillion. There are already trillions and trillions is going in the drain. What are we talking? You see how they have managed to establish these systems in the name of science and development. They have not only done this crooked thing, and they've also taken away the rights of the seeds in the name of patent and intellectual properties. That's all this green revolution experts managed. They have taken away the rights of the seeds from the farmers of India, not only India, all over the world. And then these same guys, same experts keep talking about food security. Ironically. Food security and food sovereignty are the two sides of the same coin. In fact, our constitution says first word is sovereignty, that we have right to grow what we want to grow in our fields. But we have no right now because the seeds themselves do not belong to us, because they have this so-called crooked method of patenting, and all the scientists are part of this. How can you patent nature's properties? And we have given in to this culture of taking the rights away from the natural resources. They belong to the nature, not to us. Just because you tinker here and there and it becomes yours, you start charging not for one day, the whole next futures. And that's what bothered me. A grain that can be grown 90 acres of the land, given land for you, we declared it as no food. And then the food that is captured, sabotaged by these companies, we all think is our food, which actually is manufacturing diseases. And then you think you're going to be all right going to the hospitals, they're supplying tablets. So where did you lose your health? You lost in your kitchen. And where are you searching? In the hospitals. So what I'm saying is right. I should just stop feeding all these sick fellows the rice and wheat and sugar. And if I feed the ancient grains, all these guys, whatever the disease name is, should become all right. This was my scientific proposition. That's why I came back to India. From 1997, of course, things were cooking in my mind from 1986, but it took me 10 years to muster to do what I had to do, leave things, the so-called job, so-called all that signs and big MNC job, all that. And I should mention here my dear darling wife, Usha, who without her, all this would have been impossible. Just like the sun ray breaking the oxygen. And if she were not to give me her grace is what made this happen, because most often she's forgotten. I mean, it's because of her. So many a time when I am going away from my home, in fact, first 10 years was, I used to leave at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night without, I didn't want to disturb my wife who was sleeping. I just used to take namaskar to her and then leave. I mean, she has done so much. She didn't have a single question. Said, we'll go back to India. Let's go. I just want to give my gratitude to my wife. Without that, I'm not complete. It's not complete. So we did this, went to nook and corners of every village, collected these forgotten grains, because in fact there were no grains. In fact, we had to meet 90-year-old fellows, 89-year-old such old farmers, and they gave me some few when I asked them these names. Oh, how do you know these things? Because they were eating when they were kids, and so they gave me with so much grace. They just presented. So I got them back and in my backyard made it into 1 kilo, 2 kilo, and then went to the barren land farmers and then asked them to grow. They said, why do you want to grow? These are all bird feed. Why are you? All the farmers even today think I'm a mad fellow growing this bird feed. You see, we have grown, so many birds are coming, and that is the beauty of these millets. When 1 inch, less than 1 inch birds to 3 feet parrots come and feast when the grain is made, the kanki we call, tene, when it's formed. And they bless you with their droppings. And the barren lands, spoiled lands by this modern agriculture, we have replenished in a matter of 3 cycles. The fertility of the lost soil can be reverted, regenerated, just growing millets. No need. We have done this experiment on 1,000 acres. In fact, we have gone to mined areas where nothing can happen, nothing grows there. We did this magic. So it's not regenerating your lost health. We can regenerate everything. We can regenerate rivers. We can regenerate nature itself, because it is the diversified format of God's creation is this 8,000 varieties of C4 grasses that actually are protecting the soil itself. If the grasses are not covering the land, nature itself kills the top 5-inch soil. It is to hold that soil steadily, the roots of these wonderful C4 grasses, which do not require water to grow, because the grasses and the roots harbor hygroscopic bacteria that can absorb water, even if it is very less. Your humidity is 30%. So that means even if there is 10 centimeter varshapat, rainfall, you can grow these grasses. That means even in Kutch area, I can grow food. But if only you consider that as food, आपको पिज्जा चाहिए, बर्गर चाहिए. Do you know this? Some match happened. This England India cricket match at Davis Day. Bangalore alone has ordered 1.1 crore Zomato Swiggy orders, and we are 1.2 crore fellows. Where is the kitchen? Where is the kitchen? And as such, on a daily basis, Bangalore is #1 city in the whole world. Zomato Swiggy orders 88 lakhs to 90 lakhs per day. And funnily, next city that comes in India is Ahmedabad, not Delhi. $69 lakhs or something like that. Can you believe this is happening? And we still keep asking, why am I getting sick? Why my daughter is type 1 diabetes? Why my daughter has menstrual cycle out of it? PCOD problem is there, fibroid is there, endometriosis is there. It is there because what you are eating. And no expert is telling that it is because of that. And what are these experts doing? They are spinning stories. You take this medicine, you come this medicine, you do that, do this, do this. No doctor tells, go and see Surya Namaskara. Because that itself can set right 90% of your problems. Vitamin D3 is coming. And if you set your gut microbes properly, vitamin B12 and score of many biochemicals, that transmitters, regulator, transporters, everything is done by the gut microbes, not by your cells also. So you don't want gut microbes, you keep killing them with steroids, antibiotics, and all these things are not needed. You just eat wheat, you will kill all this. The gluten itself is good enough to kill all your gut microbes. Because the celiac reason, the diffusion and absorption is completely disturbed. Come on, Dr. Khadar, हम तो कुलचा चाहिए, पराठा चाहिए. क्या बात कर रहा है? What are you talking? Nonsense. But this is the information that we should have been spreading to the next generation. And then we say, oh, our kids do not listen. Who is owning the pizza burger? Who is owning the chains? Who is making money? Are the kids making money? So you have thousands of these chains in your marketplace and you are wooing. Who is wooing? Sunday ya Monday, khao Monday. All cricket matches, these wonderful advertisements are coming. Chodo, forget about anda and all this. Now there are 3 heroes selling gutka. And these are iconic heroes for us. Kya baat hai? No one talks about it. I don't know their names. One is, what is it? Some Khan and some Kumar, or, yeah. Some Gun, Devgan or something. Yeah. Can you believe that these are things happening? And we have no problem. We don't want to ask questions because you are conditioned. We are conditioned so flat that our brains do not work. So we've been committing these grievous mistakes of not questioning. And we have done, do we have that arrangement? Can you? No, it's okay. We have taken it seriously and then fed all these diseased conditioned fellows, including type 1 diabetes, which is declared all over the world, it is incurable. 30 days, we will wipe it out from bodies. 30 days, wipe it out. In fact, we did a big experiment. We went to Anantapur, the drought-ridden area. We took 8 acres of barren land and took 40 people, tied them up with the fence. We gave them the grains, they grew it, they processed it, they cooked it, they ate for 30 days. We told we'll pay you for doing this. And after 30 days, they were all free from their diabetes, BP, thyroid. Period. Zero. It so happened 4 of them were single women who were left completely by everyone. They were also participating with because they had diabetes. Now they chose to stay there back, and they are growing, they are processing, they are cooking, they are running a canteen on the side road. They have cured 300 diabetic patients now in the last 6 months. The name of the village is called Kurugunta in Anantapur district. And we have named that hotel as Pudami Siri. Pudami in our language means Siri means the wealth. So you are diabetic, just follow that protocol, 30 days. But हमारा आंटी तो आ रही है तो कॉफी जरा पीना है. हमारा गुजरात में तो सुबह सुबह उठ के हम काल किलो जहांगीर खाना है, जलेबी खाना है. No, I was going to Anand traveling. No, all at a sudden in the morning we said we'll eat something. Go there, and they said they just brought and kept half kilo jalebi. It is mandatory. You have to eat. इतना खराब हो गया है हम. We don't question this. The last thing you want to put into your tummy, even 1 milligram of sugar is not necessary for us. But the world grows, you know how much? More than 200 lakh tons of sugar. Each kilo of sugar requires 28,000 liters of water. See the environmental damage we are doing. And the water logging creates global warming. And the agricultural practices of the modern agriculture has created 10.4 billion tons of carbon dioxide per year, which translates to 440 ppm of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And that's what is burning you, heating up. Mysuru, in October, we were wearing sweaters and socks. Now, no one has, October Dasara has come and gone. We are still not got our sweaters out. Forget about in Ahmedabad. You don't need sweaters. So this is our problem. It's because we are eating what we are eating, and no expert is talking about it. So it's high time we changed our food. In quotes, it's not food. Many people, Europeans themselves, are calling it as junk food. I said, where is food there? It is junk. Where is food there? Food is something that nourishes you and then gives you health. So nutrition is only half part of the health. The remaining, the toxic morbid waste that is generated in each and every biochemical reaction has to be cleaned up on a daily basis. And that's what our ancestral Ayurveda doctor said. You got to detox yourself. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, you have no escape from these advertisements. You like it or not, you have to watch it. देखो. हाँ. Get back. Back. Yeah. Actually, it is not Dr. Khadar, it is Siri Jeevan Lifestyle. Yeah, Facebook people put up my name.
Hi, Shruti. I'm from Bangalore. Last after my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in the month of September. He was barely 13 at the time. He had to be rushed to the hospital. He was in the hospital for about 7 days, where his medication or treatment included him taking insulin injections. And even when we got back, we were told that this is how his life is going to be, that he has to manage his blood sugar levels only with insulin injections, and that he had to take it for about 4 to 5 times a day. And not just that, in the middle of the night, we had to check his blood sugar levels every day so that he doesn't enter a hyperglycemic state. And that's very painful to see, right? Thankfully, on the ninth day after his discharge, our very close relative, because of his experience with Dr. Khadar, recommended us to go consult him. So I took my son along to Mysore, and we saw Dr. Khadar. Dr. Khadar immediately put us at ease. He said, my son does not have to be dependent on insulin injections for the rest of his life. But there was another way that included switching to a millet diet, stopping anything that was processed, stopping milk and milk related products, switching to an organic diet, and following a good physical regime, that is a good exercise routine. And immediately we started that. Also, Dr. Khadar, in his disease protocol, he recommends, for diabetes, he recommends taking concoctions of certain leaves in the morning and having full-driven oils. There are 5 types that he recommends for diabetes. So we started doing that for my son. And in a week's time, we could see how his insulin dosage had to be reduced, right? For every meal, in fact, we started giving him lesser and lesser because his blood sugar levels were getting controlled with lesser dosage of insulin. And believe it or not, at the end of 1 month, we could, stop his medication completely. He was just managing it with whatever Dr. Khadar recommended. Millet diet, we're drinking the concoction of certain leaves with full oils and following a healthy regime. So we are extremely indebted to Dr. Khadar for his timely help. We are grateful to him because he's been our savior. And I recommend that everybody follow Dr. Khadar's protocol. Even if you are healthy, please switch to a millet diet. Stop eating gluten and rice because it does more harm than good to our bodies. All of us at home,
I'm not the savior. The millets are the saviors. And it is the Surya Namaskar that is the one which saved. So we also, actually, I have exceeded 8 minutes given to me. So I want to wind up that we can even get rid of this so-called type 1 diabetes. Hundreds and hundreds of kids are all right now. And that kid has not come back to me. It's been more than 3 years now. That's it. Once for all, he's all right. So I want to tell one incident which happens on a regular basis in our clinic, that many of these type 1 diabetes, that many of the gangrene patients and all these thyroid patients, they get well, they throw away their tablets. After 6 months, they come. Doctor, can we have our normal food? As if I have made them eat abnormal food for 6 months. Then I tell them, you go to the other doctors, what do they say? They take the tablet lifelong. Please eat this food lifelong. Thank you very much.
Prerak bhai, can I invite you for the formal summary or vote of thanks, please?
ક્યાંથી શરૂ કરું સાહેબ? Because this was my dream project or dream plan in the life કે મારે એએમએ જેવી સારી ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટમાં આયુર્વેદને ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કરવું અને આયુર્વેદમાં એએમએના સ્ટાન્ડર્ડનું મેનેજમેન્ટ ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કરવું. That was my dream. So, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all, and it's an honor and privilege to stand before you today to deliver a vote of thanks. AMA Dr. Prerak Shah, Ayurveda activity, and the enlightening talk on harmony in health, a fusion of Ayurveda and millets by eminent Dr. Khadar Vali sir. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all those who made this event possible, and in particular, those who have supported and encouraged this initiative. Particularly, first and foremost, I would like to express my profound thanks to AMA and the Management Association for their unwavering support and cooperation in establishing the Center Dr. Prerak Shah Ayurveda academic activities. Dr. Sawan Gudiawala sir, President of AMA, and Dr. Divya Saradia sir, past President of AMA, your vision and commitment to promoting Ayurveda and holistic well-being have been instrumental in making this dream possible. I would also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Professor Vaidya Harshit Shah, sir, Director of Ayush, Government of Gujarat. Your presence and support at this event underscore the government's commitment to promotion of Ayurveda and its integration with contemporary healthcare system. We are grateful for your encouragement and endorsement of our efforts. I must take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest, Dr. Khadar Wali sir. Your pioneering work in the field of millets and your tireless efforts to promote their health benefits are truly commendable. Your insightful talk on the fusion of Ayurveda and millets have been a source of inspiration for all of us. Now we know how to keep our health perfect, 100%. We all are honored to have you here with us today. To all the distinguished guests, members of the medical community, and everyone who has taken the time to join us for this occasion, thank you. Your presence has added immense value to this event. Last but not least, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to organizing committee, the staff, volunteers, everyone who has contributed their time and effort to make this event a resounding success. Without your dedication and hard work, none of this would have been possible. Here, I also thank my clinic staff, my business staff members, and all committee members, my directors also in my company to support me all throughout. Thank you all once again, and I look forward to our continued collaboration and shared commitment to Ayurveda and holistic health. Jai Dhanvantari.